Thanks so much for joining me for another one of our Marketing Wins episodes. Today, I have my friend and colleague, Shawn here, and she is so fun to be with. I know you're going to enjoy today's interview. So, Shawn, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, so we actually know each other from being in a mutual social media kind of industry group and mastermind, if you will. And then we've also worked for many years together on a mutual client. And so, yeah, it's just been really fun to get to know you and your expertise and also just to hear every time we catch up, just where you've taken your business. And so if you don't mind, just give people a little bit of background about what you do with Social Tonic, what your focuses are, and how you're serving people in the industry.
Yeah. So it's fun. Yeah. As Valerie said, we share one client, and that always keeps us connected on a monthly basis. And I own Social Tonic, which is a marketing consultancy. We focus on social media. However, once clients come to us with their social media needs, they're usually looking for a little bit of help in their email marketing, email campaigns, newsletters, blogging, just like their in general SEO. So I also handle those areas as well. And I do social reporting at events.
That's great. And you also have recently gotten into doing a little bit more around like beyond just the done for you stuff, but you've started branching out into doing some more training as well, correct?
Yeah. So I started in a 4-month package where I go on, take on the social media for the first month, prove the concept, create the strategy, and then month 2, train either the owner or somebody in the company, admin, whoever it might be, on what is going to happen for their social media moving forward. And there's an entire content calendar and strategy behind everything that we're doing. Month 2, they then learn everything. And then month 3, they learn it again. And then month 4, they try it on their own. And I'm there to be their training wheels and proofread and everything for them.
That's great. That's great. Yeah, I love that you have broken out into that. And it's interesting. You are somebody that has truly adjusted, um, adjusted your strategy, especially in line with, like what happened with COVID. Like I remember like we had like a catch-up meeting with our mastermind like shortly after COVID hit, and you came in saying that like majority of your clients left or
They just
disappeared
tanked.
overnight.
Everything went with COVID. And at the time, I was in Berlin, traveling with the client, and it was the week COVID hit. And I got home 2 days before the border closed. And
Oh my
so it
gosh.
was just a
Fortunately, you got
wild
back,
ride.
right?
Yeah, I got back. And yeah, COVID hit my business really hard. I have a lot of clients in the travel industry and specifically travel technology industry. And so when COVID hit, everything stopped. I mean, we all stopped traveling. So
Yeah.
it was, we need to put our budgets on hold. We don't know what we're doing. I also work with a lot of clients that are in Europe. And so we
Mm-hmm.
needed to like wait to see like what are their governments regulating and what are things going to be happening over there too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah, it's so interesting. And I think, you know, like you sharing about having all this training package and like doing some of these other things, when I think about how you responded to everything like vanishing overnight in your business, I think the fact that you've expanded and diversified your approach not only speaks to the fact that you have this amazing experience working with clients, so it makes sense that you have other avenues to promote things on, but also just that you are willing to adapt and serve people in different ways. You're not stuck in like, this is the only way I work with clients.
right. Yeah. I mean, it's at our nature, right? We're doing creative things. And so we need to do creative things with our businesses. What are the avenues that we're going to bring money in? How can we be creative ourselves, not just for our clients in that
Yeah.
sense too?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just really admire the way that you've built some of this stuff up. So
Thank
Um,
you.
yeah,
And it's
well,
amazing when travel did come back, then I had all these referrals, right? Because I have a great name specifically in the travel tech side of things.
yeah,
And then referrals just started rolling in as everybody started ramping back up for the seasons.
yeah, that's great. Well, so tell me a little bit. You don't work just in travel, correct? Like you have some
No.
clients in some other areas. One of those is our mutual client.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the, like, at least with that client, they're in like the construction materials business.
Right.
Which
Architectural services and products. And if you guys don't know, Valerie has a background in architecture.
what? Yep.
So yeah, and then I also do a lot just with in general events and events that are specifically geared towards like professional development for individuals
Mm-hmm.
that are trying to like level up their service or level up their skills or services or their business. Those are the events that I come in and either help promote, getting ticket
Mm-hmm.
sales for, or then also being on site, creating the FOMO. If you weren't there, at this event, you better be at the next event too.
Right. Yeah, I think it's so interesting because, like, with my architectural background, like I've been helping with a little bit of the longer form content for this architectural services client, and you do the social, and I, as a result, I've followed a lot of the social media content, um, and I'm always not shocked, but I'm a little shocked that they get so much engagement with such a buttoned up more serious product. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
not one of the flashy, shiny objects that you typically see on like TikTok or Instagram or whatever. It's not like that. Their stuff is very technical. Their stuff is very it's just
Base
more
layer. Let's
professional.
Yeah, and it's base layer. We're talking about things that are going to improve the durability, improve the energy efficiency of a home or a building. I mean, it's not sexy, but it's super important to the
Mm-hmm.
construction and the architecture firms that are working on these buildings themselves as well. And so it's interesting. Yeah, the client that we share last month, I was sending out their newsletter, which they just send out a monthly newsletter. They had a 42% open rate on that newsletter, which is so awesome. It's not a huge newsletter, it's a very technical thing. It's the base of the company, their sales, and a 42% open rate. And they have people who respond to this mass email which is coming right back to the owner of the company,
Yeah.
and it's, hey, that was so great this month, I really appreciate whatever project was being spotlighted, or the type of construction, what do we call it, principles that were being used and things like that.
Yeah. That's, I mean, 42% from anyone
Mm-hmm.
is phenomenal. In today's age, like for the mass broadcast email programs, to get 42% is, I mean, that's pretty stellar.
Mm-hmm.
So, let alone in something that's a little bit more serious.
Right.
And to honestly, to get a reply, for somebody to hit the reply button and send a response back, I mean, that just speaks so highly. I mean, I think part of it is just the culture that they've created with their network.
Right.
People know that the owners actually put time and care and attention into what they're putting out there.
Right.
But
He
you
knows
also
his
have,
skill and trait and things as well.
yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, they take it seriously. But also I think just the fact that like you have done such a good job too of helping guide them with the content flow, if you will, and how to make their content that is so serious and technical to make it interesting for social media. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested in just from like someone scrolling on Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
I stop and pay attention to it. I don't do that with many other architectural products these
Yeah.
days.
Well, and it's so interesting too. There's this shift, and we're both in Colorado. This company is
Mhm.
in Colorado as well. So there are a lot of different regulations and things that are happening with different municipalities and things too. So it's in the forefront. And as homeowners, it's things that we were like, okay, how can I improve this? How can I improve the efficiency? Oh, I'm thinking about getting solar, but if I do
Mhm.
solar, does this actually really help? And
Yeah.
there that this is a really good example of adding a little bit of humor, a little bit of like
Mhm.
kitschiness to things. In a sense, like we could be speaking only to the experts here, right? But we
Right.
speak a little bit more lower level so that we can get homeowners and we can get people who are like in that dreaming phase of thinking, oh, I want to build a house or I want to build a
Yeah.
cabin out in the mountains. But you know what? The climate out there, I'm going to really have to pay attention as I start building out there because it's drastic or, there's a lot of wind up on the mountain and things. So speaking to the right or speaking to a little bit more of a general audience has really helped us as well.
Yeah. Yeah. It's well, and I've appreciated it. I mean, because like, yes, I've got the background, but the fact that I can use my technical information and my technical knowledge, but translate it, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
into something that anybody could, find, digestible or understand. Like that to me is fun. I get to dabble a little bit in my past with architecture, but I mean, that's what I do. And I mean, you do the same thing with social media with any client. It's so much about like translating their internal lingo
Mm-hmm.
into something that is going to be interesting for people on social media or just that to the outside public eye. So you're doing a great job with that, and I really enjoy seeing all the content, and they're a fun one too to work with. So yeah, I mean, if you were to give anyone advice that is working in something like that is more technical, that is more buttoned up, what would you say to them of like, how do you help make those brands approachable on online or in the public state in the public sphere?
I think just breaking it down to the raw elements, right? So, like
Mm,
I was saying, we're looking at something that is when we get the professional photos back from a brand new house that's been being built in the mountains, you can't see the majority of the products that are being used. And so
right.
it's getting photos in the building process to say, okay, this is where it's so important. And this is where you layer this in at this point during the construction phase so that you have this airtight experience in your home, which like also creates a quiet, like lovely environment for you and your kids
Mm-hmm.
as well. So it's really bringing them in to the phase in where it is important and not
Mm-hmm.
just the end result.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I think too, to that comment there, I mean, so many people, whether they have products that are getting hidden behind walls or not, just thinking and being proactive about getting that like in process
Mm-hmm.
behind the scenes look is so important, whether it's an event or, it's a product or it's a team that's working on a service. Like that's the kind of stuff that people love seeing on social media.
Mm-hmm.
They want to see those like process or before and after type,
Yes, the before and
transformations.
after, the behind the scenes. Here's what it really looks like. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. What are you seeing now to jump back over to the travel industry, because I know that's picked back up for you.
Mm-hmm.
What are you seeing now that everyone's past, the little slump that happened with COVID and things are picking back up? What are you seeing trend wise with what's working on social versus not?
I think in the sense like so one of the clients that I've recently taken on in my training package is an inn in the Caribbean. that they really wanted to make the change from just relying on the OTA, the online travel agency type
Mhm.
booking. So, like a booking.com or an Expedia or a TripAdvisor type booking, they want people to come directly to their website. So, this is
Mm,
huge across all segments of travel. They want direct bookings. If it's you're offering a walking, um, culinary tour of downtown whatever, or you offer a beer brew hop kind of tour,
yeah.
or if you have an Airbnb or if you have an inn, they want the direct booking so that they can stop having to pay all of the fees that are associated with these online travel agencies. So, like with this package that I had just walked one of my clients through, is they realized as soon as they started doing social media, their direct bookings went up. And then they were
Mm,
paying less in fees to the online travel agencies. So that means more money for them, right? And
yeah.
then because I trained their co-owner how to do it, it's now a tool and a skill that she has because she
Mm,
has the template, she has the strategy, everything is available to her. And
yeah.
so she made the investment and then now she can fulfill it as she keeps going along. But they were actually just showing me some charts from their bookings over the last 5 months. And it's a direct correlation of what we started to do on social, because
Mm,
when travelers are going to like do some of their research, they're going to Instagram and they're following different hashtags, or they're following the location pin to see like, oh, what's happening on the island. Well, when you're offering other expertise and content that's not just about the inn that you own,
yeah.
but you're showing like where are the best beaches, or where's that exotic swing that's hanging from the palm tree so that
Mm,
I can get that Instagrammable photo too.
yeah.
But when you're offering that type of content and that relatable um, expertise, then they're going to come over and look and see,
Yeah.
oh, this is a place that they really take care of their guests and they really will help me have the best experience.
Yeah.
So it's the fine touches, and then also from the business owner side of things, it's how do I get the direct booking.
Yeah. That's great. Wow. Well, as you have been obviously innovating here in the last few years yourself with your own business, are there any things that you've done to position your brand on social media in a more innovative way or different way than you did before COVID?
This is the funniest question, or like this idea is so funny to me because it's that age old experience of we service ourselves last.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Although I know that your marketing is much better than mine. I see you on LinkedIn all the time. However, I feel like mine needs a little bit more help, but it's that idea of it reminds me when I sit down to do content every month how it's so awkward to do it for yourself. And then I'm constantly reminded, like, yes, this is exactly why people hire me to do it for them. Because
Oh,
I
that's
can
so
do
good.
the shout outs and say, oh, so and so is blazing the trail and they're doing such a great job at this. But as an outsider, it's fun for me to spotlight and feature and do all those fun things. But when you're doing it about yourself or even your own employees, it feels different. But
Yeah.
when you have this outside voice that comes in and is positive and warm and wants to like do all the tagging and all the celebrating and things, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
And it reminds me when I have to do it for myself, yeah, of course people hire me to do this for them because it's so awkward to do it for myself.
I love that you just worded it that way because that is so true.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's very awkward to do some of that stuff for yourself. Very awkward. So
And you get
that,
the brain fog or the like the I have caption block.
or you're just too close to the project, like you're
Yes.
too close to
Yes.
the material to really look at it objectively. You
Hmm.
need that third party set of eyes to say, yeah, these are the things that are sticking out about your
Hmm.
brand that other people might care about. So,
This is
um,
what we need to toot the horn about because this is exciting. And
yeah,
when you're in this like the sludge of it over and over, you don't see always the excitement because you're like, yeah, that's that.
Yeah. Yeah. And so because you've built this business up from the start, you've
Mhm.
had to rebuild it after COVID. You've done a lot of cool things with your career here in marketing. What has been a recent win that you've been excited about?
Well, the most recent win is this one in the Caribbean. One, because I got to deal with a lot of fun vacation photos, right? This
Nice.
beautiful destination that's very much more on the ecotourism side of things. And then I got to know about it.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm going in September, in case you
Woo.
didn't. And then, so that was a big win, right? We can see statistically, okay, as we ramped up our organic social, and it's organic, we're not talking about paid. As we
Yeah.
ramped up organic, we can see the direct correlation. The other thing that's been fun is as we all start going to conferences and events, I'm starting to be the social reporter again, which is
Mm,
so fun to
that's
be
fun.
at the convention center where the buzz is happening. I was just 2 weeks ago at the um, Project Management Institute symposium.
Mm,
And so I'm tweeting about who's on stage and these great quotes from the motivational keynote speaker that starts the day, ends the day, and then what's going on, like what's the
mm,
vibe that's happening in the networking lounge. And that's just fun to be around again as we all start gathering. When's the last time you were at the convention center? This was my first time back. It was
yeah.
really fun and exhausting. I forget, right? After the the COVID shutdown, how when you're around over 1,000 people in a room,
Hmm.
that energy is exhausting at the end of the day. You're like, okay.
Man. All right. Well, so if you had one piece of advice to people who are listening about how to go after their next win today in the digital marketing space, whether it's social media, whether it's email marketing, blog content, website content, whatever, what would you go tell people to go do?
Mm. Well, I'd probably say get up and walk away from your desk.
I love that.
Anytime that I need to think through something, it's I will take a walk. I will walk out an idea. And being just around a few trees on the sidewalk, you're not at your desk, you're not forced to try to look at a blank Google spreadsheet or a
Yeah.
Google form or whatever you're trying to fill out. But to walk away and just like get some ideas going. That is
Mhm.
anytime I need just a little creative boost or something to shift is just take a walk. If it's just like around the block real quick, come back refreshed, and then, take another look at it.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, no, I agree. Anytime I need to work through an idea, getting up and out of my desk, it helps, but I always forget that that's the
Yeah.
thing that I should go do. So
And if
again,
you're getting a little vitamin D, might as well do it.
yeah, you've just verbalized so much in our interview here that I are just reminders I needed to hear. So I'm so
Mhm.
grateful for that.
Mm.
And I'm so grateful just for the energy and encouragement that you bring to all the clients that you work with. And every time I talk to you, like that shines through so prominently. So thanks so much today for sharing all these little nuggets with the listeners here. And if
Nothing's
people,
groundbreaking, but it's just
you
the
know,
reminders, right?
honestly, but you said some things today that were you worded them in such a way that I think makes a lot of sense. And sometimes that's where the magic is in just knowing how to reword things. Um, in marketing, there's not always a lot of new ideas. It's just respun ideas, right? So
Exactly.
that is one of your strengths. And I'm grateful that you shared that today. So if people want to get any more from you and continue to learn from your wisdom, where can they find you online?
My website is socialtonic.us, and you can follow me on LinkedIn at Shawn Teasley.
Awesome. Well, Shawn, thanks so much for joining me today on this interview. Can't wait to share it with the world and look forward to learning even more from you in the coming years.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
If you liked what you just heard, please hit subscribe to make sure you don't miss any of our future episodes. And while you're at it, go ahead and leave us a review. That not only helps us out, but it helps others discover great interviews just like this one.